Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Doctor's Notes podcast by Doc's Castle Media, a podcast I created to share the notes of one of my favorite reality shows ever, Big Brother USA. I'm your host, Doc, and I'm here to talk BP perspective from Doc's point of view. So here we go. Hey, everyone, it's time to talk about the veto ceremony this week. We start off this episode with Corey and America being on the block. After the big giant blow up that was had with Jared and Corey, of course, Corey and America will be on the block right now. But we know that the backdoor target is Cameron. Cameron is a bigger threat than both of them, according to Jared. So, will the plan to get Cameron on the block succeed this episode? That's what we're watching. So much other dialogue happened, so much gameplay has played, so many new alliances have been built, and a never before MVP player of this episode has been named during this podcast. It's going to be a wild one. But really, is it? It's just a whole bunch of talk and a whole bunch of drama, honestly. So, let me begin. We start off the game with Corey basically saying that he knew that he blew up his final 2 games with Jared moving forward, so that's why he knows that he's on the block. And America, she just starts off this episode's just being turned on by being on the block next to her showmans is something that is just like crossed off of her bucket list at this moment. You know, she's just so excited. She's so happy to play this game. But that's where they stand. And we watched Big Brother play out Corey and Jared having talks about the stance of why they're on the block individually with each other, and same thing with America and Jared. And honestly, like, we can skip all of that type of conversation that they have because it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, Jared really wants Cameron to be on the block. And as you're watching the game, everybody is gunning to play or win the veto competition in this episode because no one wants Cameron to win veto, or they don't want him to play in the veto. But it's wild that everybody still thinks that Cameron is such a big threat compared to what just happened in the house, that big giant blow up that they just had. You got 2 people that you just literally know that you for a fact know you're not going to work with in the house that's on the block, but you still are steadily trying to backdoor Cameron for the whole house. It's like, it don't matter, because at the end of the day, someone else is still on the block. One of your biggest targets, Corey, is still on the block. So I don't know, Jared, it's like it's a risk to still have your eyes set on Cameron when you just was in a blowout this week with Corey. So, but it works in favor for Corey, because Corey's just like, as long as he keeps his mindset on that, that's fine. And he's safe the next week, it doesn't matter, because Corey is still going to go after Jared. And I live for it. But ultimately, Cameron needs to play the veto to keep himself safe. And that's what we're basically watching in this game. If Cameron is going to play in the veto, like Cameron even goes to America and Corey when in this game to discuss whether if they get to choose someone for house guest choice in the veto competition, would they choose him? He wanted to confront them and basically choose him to play because he wants to keep himself safe. He doesn't want to go home. But I'm pretty sure that America and Corey, if it comes down to the truth, they are not going to choose Cameron to go on the block. Why would you choose someone that you know that could possibly be your way of being safe? You know, you the main target, and Jared has made it clear to everyone that Cameron's the main target. So, except for Cameron, I guess. And Cameron is basically left not knowing again that he is a target, but he has to stop being oblivious, and I think that's what it is. He's not going to be oblivious this week in knowing that. I want to talk about the alliances in the game right now, because we seem to be focusing more on the fact that the alliances are getting smaller. There aren't any more big alliances, like the 6 to 7 versus whatever. It's not that much. It's still that many people in the house, but the big alliances are failing and we can't do them anymore. So we're moving down to final 2s and we're seeing final 3 alliances. I want to mention an alliance that just randomly appeared based off of what happened last week. Nicole and Felicia have decided to officially create a final two alliance with each other. And the way that it played out is because Mimi and Felicia, they want to take each other to the end, because Mimi reveals to Felicia that about the switch in the vote. Pretty much, Felicia didn't know that it was a possibility that she was going to be going home anyway, because Sari and Jared were never going to keep her over Izzy. Mimi revealed that to Felicia, and Felicia just felt like her best friend had abandoned her and betrayed her. And when that type of information is, given to her, she just opens her eyes up to Mimi as someone that she feels that she can truly trust. And they built a bond together. It says that they are now going to the final two together. This creates an interesting dynamic, because if they ever win anything, who's to say who would they put on the block? It looks like if Felicia won another HOH competition, she could possibly backdoor Sari or backdoor Jared because of this information that Mimi gave her. It could possibly change the game if Felicia wins later. As far as Mimi, I still don't know where Mimi goes. Mimi, because she's working for Felicia, it could go in that direction. Who knows? But I don't know where Mimi stands. I just know where Felicia stands. And if that alliance had started to really make moves, that I feel like it's a danger for Jared and Sari. Of course, another alliance that we have right now is Corey in America. They are the showmance that is thriving right now in the house. So, they're going to have their final two alliances, and Corey's final two alliance with Jared is completely been dismantled. So we don't even have to list them as a final two anymore. So that's the end of that. Another one that might be dismantled. Blue and Jared might not be as strong of a showmance as we think that they are. Blue and Jake have a stance that is very shaky with Jared right now, and it's basically because Jake is familiar with the fallout of the 7 deadly sins and the reveal of the for real alliance. Jag just doesn't trust Jared right now, and what makes that very interesting is because Jag takes that information, because Blue wasn't in the room with the blowout at all. Jag just takes that information to go tell Blue about what Jared was saying, why Corey and Jared are not friends anymore, and it causes a lot of confusion with Blue, because Blue, she just doesn't understand why Jared would lie to her about anything. Girl, that's not your real boyfriend. It's not your real boyfriend. He has a girlfriend outside of the house. You've only known him for a few days. I don't know. She just put all her trust into this guy. And y'all just been vibing, playing footsies with each other. So, I don't know. But she really had her eyes set on, I guess, the final two with Jared. But being revealed such information, I guess it does make her feel a little shaky. The information that she gets from from Jag, she takes to Jared. Blue tells Jared her knowledge of him being in a alliance without her. Being told the information about the for real alliance that Jared just thinks and feels that he never took serious to begin with. And basically, he gets defensive over it. Their conversation gets a little hostile, where he starts talking about lawyer tone, and she wasn't even being loud. He just was being Jared, because he did the same thing to Corey in the last episode. But it just the conversation got a little hostile, and in her diary room session, she was crying and was basically, why would he lie to her if she even knows one of his biggest secrets in the game about him even playing a game with his mother? And she's right. Why would he do something like that? He's retarded. He's retarded. He don't really know how to play the game. He don't really know how to navigate the social world. He already messy. So that's just that. But Blue and Jag's stance is very shaky with Jared. And with this information, Jag comes to her saying that he needs to understand where their gameplay is going to go forward from him telling that information to her. Blue officially tells us in the diary room that her stance with her showmates after speculations, for us, the speculations that we saw on Twitter about whether she truly liked Jared or not has been confirmed. She is basically going to take her relationship as a secondary to the game. So she's not really going to be thinking about her relationship with moving, her relationship in the game. It's not a priority right now with Jared. She's thinking about that money, and that's what it should have been from the jump. I mean, it takes someone's heart to be broken in order to really eyes be opened up to the reality of what something could be. So I'm assuming that Blue is just, she on her own, or she's playing with Matt and Jag right now because they create a Final Three alliance. Matt, Jag, and Blue create their Final Three alliance together, where they are deciding to work with the sides of the house that they feel more comfortable with. There is a new divide in the house now that Corey has stepped up and created a stance that he has openly made public to everyone. Now there is a divide where there is a Corey in America versus Jared and Sari. So when that happened, Jag and Blue they're noticing this, Jag, Blue, and Matt, and they have to prioritize where they're going to go with this house. Are they going to really work with Jared? Do they trust working with Jared after Jared has already lied to them about a secret alliance? I don't think so. I'm seeing Jag wanting to work more with Corey's side, and he's being familiar with that feeling very well because he does not want to be voted out 10-0 again. I'm pretty sure that Jag is trying to persuade Blue and Matt to think the same way. Jag wants to basically move forward with working with Corey in America instead of Jared and Sari. I mean, he already was working with them before, and it's proven it that he can't really trust them. So he's trying to pitch his point right now, and he's pitching pretty well, because how you going to pitch to somebody's showmans to basically turn on them, and their showmans is literally about to turn on them? That's serious, and that's why I have created Jag the MVP player of this episode, y'all. Jag is the MVP player of this episode because he tells Blue about Jared and Corey's big blowout and why she shouldn't trust Jared. So with that knowledge, or him being able to persuade her, is definitely about to make him a strong player. That's a good move. Like, you see in this episode how happy America is to be in a showmance and how she wants to work with Corey so bad. And then you look at Jared and you look at Blue and you see so opposite. So opposite. But Blue makes the stance that she's going to prioritize the game over her relationship with Jared in the game. So with that being said, yay Jag, you are MVP player. Jag also, he pitched the importance of choosing their position in the game to those two. So like, he was really on a persuade journey in this episode to persuade them. So I feel like he did the most in this episode as far as social moves. I know that Cameron definitely tried to persuade a whole group to try to keep him, but what more can he do? He can't even create a deal with an entire group. I think the best bet for Cameron is what he's been doing, having those solo one-on-one talks, week-to-week talk deals. And him in this episode, he came to a whole group trying to convince them to work with him, angling it so that Corey looks stronger than him. And if people kept him in the house, that he would work as their warrior and work for them. Like, that's it's an okay pitch, I guess, because he's proven to many people that he has been able to work with them with his week-to-week deals. But I mean, like I said, he can't really pitch to an entire group. The week-to-week deals that he's been working with have been solo one-to-one with one person. You can't just make a week-to-week deal with an entire group. It just don't work that way. It would probably been easier if he came with a week-to-week deal with Jared, which he did in the nomination episode, but it just didn't work. Jared is so set on him leaving. It's looking like Cameron is gone out the door this week. The veto competition. The veto competition was from the Scrambleverse, and it was basically like a foot competition. It was just like sweaty feet just squirting out sweat everywhere, and he had to collect the sweat and just basically fill up receptacles at the fastest time. You would hear a whistle and you would collect the sweat in a helmet, and then you would take it to fill up the receptacles in the fastest time to win the power of veto. And the people that competed in the competition this episode was Jared, America, Corey, Jag, Cameron, and Bowie Jane. And basically everybody did not want Cameron to play, so it was just like, oh my god, they were just hoping that he had a very slow time, and he did not win. The person with the fastest time was Jag. So hello, yay Jag, which also is the reason why you are an MVP player of this episode as well, because he won the veto. Jag is a veto winner. I think this is like his second veto he won this season. The other veto winner, of course, is Cameron, but Jag is proving that he is a very strong veto winner. So yay. With his win, like I said, Cameron came angling that Corey looked stronger, so he wanted to pitch to Jag, that. And Jag is so set on, following the plan of the house, so Jag just decides to save Corey. And basically now, instead of it being Corey and America on the block, it is now Cameron and America on the block. I'm sure that America really wanted Jag to save him. But Corey was the one that came with the information. Corey was the one that came and rallied everyone last week to get Izzy out. So I'm pretty sure with the information that he was given, Jag was going to save Corey anyway. He just has that more of a trust for Corey, I guess, than America. But yeah. With all that being said, what do I think is the best bet for this house right now? It's probably better for them to get Cameron out of the house right now, which I think Cameron is going to be out the door anyway. But right after Cameron, who they going to get out the door in a double eviction? I don't know. It probably would be best to try to get Sari out, but I don't know. Like, I think who they'll try to get out in a double eviction, if Cameron gets voted out in Thursday night's episode, they're probably going to go after Jared. Jared can't even compete in the next HOH competition because he's HOH right now. Jared is in danger during the double eviction. So, it's interesting. I'm interested in seeing where the episode will go. But I have no Twitterverse updates today. I not really am keeping up with that much with Twitter. At the moment, it's been so much that's been going on in the episodes that I really have not really wanted to keep up with Twitter to confuse myself at the time. So let's just discuss what we've had discussed this episode. This episode, we have discussed where the plan for Cameron to go on the block, it did succeed, basically. Corey and America are no longer the two that's on the block, and Cameron is definitely being backdoored. We talked about that the alliances being dismantled, and we're seeing more 2-people alliances and maybe final 3 alliances, but there is no more big alliances anymore. Mimi and Felicia have a final 2 alliance. That's a brand new alliance for us. We see Matt, Jag, and Blue have finally worked together, and Blue seems to be turning on her showmance. Doesn't look like she's working with Jared that much anymore. The MVP player of this episode is Jag, because he was able to persuade Blue He won the veto competition, and he pitched it to Blue and met the importance of where they should stand in the game with working with Corey in America. But that is pretty much what the episode was. We saw that Cameron is being the target. He might leave tomorrow, and we have a double eviction. And my stance with the double eviction is they better get Jared out. That's going to change the game. And it probably make Cerie spiral. It might be interesting to watch her spiral. So yeah. But anyway, that's this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope we have a good next episode. I don't know. Listen. Stay tuned. Peace out. Thank you so much for tuning into the Doctor's Notes podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you found value in what you heard today, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. For more updates and Doc's Castle content, follow me on my social media. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Doc's Castle. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics that you'd like to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out to me via email at docscastlemediainfo@gmail.com. Remember, your support means the world to me, and I'm grateful to have you as a listener. But until next time, peace out.